actually become even more lifelike than the event itself. And so I began to pay attention, particularly in moments of crisis and drama, to ensure that I could recall them accurately in the future. By directing my characters, I made my memories live. I would encase a memory in a snow dome, then label it and store it on the shelf with the others, so I could refer to it when I needed it. Needed it? Why would I ever need it? Why would I want to revisit a specific drama, trauma, nightmare, or overwhelming fear? Why remind myself of troubling times? Was it because they contained precious insights, which I could draw on to prepare myself for the future, or simply to help me understand a current situation? Why is it so satisfying to revisit happy times? Are they proof that we're capable of happiness, even when we think it's no longer possible? If I preserved life in a snow dome, then I could manage any situation, difficult or easy. I felt happy to be feeling things. I loved being alive. These stories are my snow domes. Many of them sit shoved to the back of a shelf where the light doesn't reach. Some are always front and center. Others I haven't looked at for more than 50 years. Some are leaking and broken, and while I barely recognize them, they store their own truths. Part 1. Girl. Chapter 1. Baby, I love your way. HSC trials. That's exactly what they were, a trial. Unlike my brother, who excelled scholastically without effort, I studied hard and wanted to do well, especially for my mother, even though I knew she didn't regard marks as an indication of intelligence. My father had spent many hours at the dining room table trying to explain mythical mathematical equations to me. Occasionally something would click, but how to apply it to the next set of numbers eluded me. It was a language full of tricks. I knew there was a logic, but I simply couldn't find it. My brother and sister had moved out, leaving me in Camden to see the HSC through. I had plans to live in Sydney and was looking into art schools and short drama courses, an imagined future distracting me from my studies. Camden is a picturesque village about 65 kilometres from the heart of Sydney, on beautiful land belonging to the Gandangara, Darung and Tharawal peoples. It has churches and historical buildings, as well as the MacArthur Estate, famous for its wool. What I loved most were its floodplains, paddocks, and the flowing Nepean River with its kingfishers, kookaburras, eels, and massive trees. As you approached Camden from Narellan to the north, coming over the rise, you were met with a magnificent expanse of green. Poplars and jacarandas lined the streets, and the wooden planked bridge rumbled under the car wheels as it welcomed you into the township. A great attraction in Camden for busloads of visiting city folk was the Rotalactor, a large revolving milking machine, a 1950s merry-go-round for milked-up happy cows. The cows stood facing the centre, chewing away. Sitting on the grass, I munched on my Sayo crackers with Vegemite, watching the steaming, creamy milk being rhythmically pumped through the tubes into clear glass containers above each cow, contemplating that the following day, at 2 p.m, my HSC trial exams would be over. I wondered what cows would make of exams and whether they put pressure on themselves to produce milk each day, or compared their output with other cows. I doubted it, but it was fun to wonder. The following morning, I woke up with only my geography exam ahead of me. It was not a strong subject. While I could identify a mesa, I preferred to go into elaborate descriptions than discuss its geological properties. Graphs made me sweat, and trying to decipher a table of numbers made me almost pass out. We were encouraged to stay home to study and only arrive at the school hall half an hour before the exam. I walked into my mother's room at about 8 a.m. She was lying in bed.